Good morning. I am a 10-20 minute walk from Ayase or Kita Ayase stations on the Tokyo Metro Chiyoda line. And today we're checking out a thrift store that I'm actually very excited about. This is it right here. And do not let the appearance throw you off. This place is incredible. So this is called YuYu Ichiba. And while outside there's a ton of junk lined up like this, and we've got all the older clothing and used bags and whatnot, this is not really representative of what I just saw inside the shop. In fact, inside this shop has me kind of excited, and there's a little bit of a twist today as we have this entire shop to ourselves. Not only skateboard do we have shooting permission in here, but they have opened up the shop early just so that we can come in and take a peek. I just had a chat with the staff. They are super friendly and there is so much to see in here. So I guess we'll start right at this first row. Now, considering that this is still basically in Tokyo, the number of very interesting items and incredible prices on them is fantastic. A lot of the thrift stores in Tokyo as of late have gotten very, very expensive, especially when it comes to tech and retro gaming. Like clowns like this particular clown clock, like I swear my grandmother had something very, very similar. I always look at items like that and wonder, how did they get here? Were they popular in Japan as well? Or did they find their way here by somebody visiting overseas? You get much more Japanese items like this. And again, a lot of it being at really reasonable prices. Mind you, this plate here is 13,800 yen, so we're looking nearly $100 with the current exchange rate. We have a whole section right here just for plushes, more clown down here, and then this section coming up already just looks like a ton of fun. We're gonna take it nice and slow on this one. We're not going to rush through. We're not going to go at a crazy pace. We're actually going to try to take a look at as many of these items as we can. Like PlayStation VR for 2,800 yen up there. Or we've got sets and packs of Pokemon cards here for 550 yen. Sorry, I flipped that one. I know it's such a tiny detail, but flip it back. Actually, not too bad. I wonder what else is in there. But yet this old Volkswagen, like, it's still in box. I can almost guarantee if you were to take that overseas and sell it, it would probably go for much, much more. Like this Bomberman toy here for 330 yen. These bins look like they are going to be full of Japanese gold. I have no idea what a swing pet is, but I kind of love him. He is fantastic. And I don't know if you've ever seen these before. There's like I think this is the one, there's like a marble in it, and you've got to get, yep, I hear it. And you've got to get it from one end to the other. I don't want to get sucked into playing with that, or we will never leave. And then even in here, you get things like a giant set of these Mizasta coins, these Pokemon kind of NFC style game, and that whole thing, the whole pack, is 500 yen. Oh wow. And then we get right into gaming. Like, we have all the old Super Famicom games here. Puyo Puyo is a good game. I cannot remember what it was called in English. Maybe it was just called Puyo Puyo. I have no idea. If you remember, let me know down below. But also, things like this. I've been recently coming across a lot more of these in Japan. These cases for old GameCubes and Super Nintendos and N64 and whatnot. And again, 2,500 yen is not a bad price for something retro and amazing like that. Got a ton of PlayStation 2 games, and then as we get into here, really reasonable prices on the old Nintendo games, the Famicom, like you have right there. Famicom, Super Mario Brothers, 550 yen. That is incredibly reasonable pricing. Go into Akihabara, try to find the exact same cartridge in similar condition. You're probably looking at 5-10 times the price. No jokes. And then a case here. There's a Wii U here. I think it's a Splatoon edition of Wii U for 9,800 yen. What? Oh, there's never enough time in a day to look at everything that's in these. The good and in great condition games seem to be in the case here. We also have a PSP or 3DS, both reasonably priced. And then get the old family computer and the twin Famicom here as well. And for, Ichiban 7,800 yen, so around maybe with the exchange rate 120, that is incredible for that price. Also GB box. I think this is the old storage box for the Game Boy for 9,800 yen. And you've got an inbox, faded inbox Super Famicom for under 7,000 yen. Oh, I kind of feel like we might need to grab that. And the disc system, I don't even know how I missed that, for 5,800. Wow, okay. Moving on, because there is still so much more to see in this place. To give you a bit of context, here is a peek at the size of this. This is warehoused size. We have so much to see and go through today, so I should probably pick up the pace just a little bit. Look at this guy. Oh my lord. These feel so classic, like this old cream soda sign. Or the robot here. This as well. When I was, I don't know, we'll say 7-8 years old, my uncle had something very similar to this that he used to use to bring us out drinks and whatnot. And I'm actually very afraid of how much stuff I'm going to grab today. If you come here immediately after this is released and most of this stuff is gone, it's probably because it's in my studio now. Because I've learned previously that if I find something I really like and put it in a video, it can be gone within like the same day the video is released. You guys are quick, impressively quick. So moving down this way, we get blankets and sheets and whatnot. There's an entire incredible houseware section up there. For anybody who has just moved to Tokyo, this place is going to be a gold mine for you. Should we rub it? Yo, it moved for a second and I low-key thought we might get a genie. We did not. Moving on. And again, we get rice cookers and housewares and everything. A Toshiba rice cooker for 7,000 yen there. Everything is kind of also very condensed, dense. There's just a lot of stuff in one area. So for example, all the watches and lighters. This is very often a common set. You get the watches up here, you get the lighters down there with what looks to be a P38 lighter. And you even get some of the more classic like Casios and whatnot in there. And then all up here in the front, we've got old glasses and cosmetic products. But also to be able to come here and get a Panasonic TV, which it's Panasonic, so I wouldn't recommend it to begin with. But for what seems to be discount, I'm gonna guess 70,000 yen, so around $500. TVs are expensive in Japan for some reason. Japan doesn't like to sell non-Japanese brand TVs, to the point where I was at a shop with my friend Sherry, who just moved to Tokyo, and we literally watched a salesperson say, oh yeah, you can get non-Japanese maker TVs for a much lower price, but do you really trust something that comes from overseas and is electronic? And when I say comes from overseas, he literally cited the country that the item came from. And I'm not gonna we're not gonna rage bait anybody here, but my jaw dropped. I was like, did you just racially profile a piece of tech? He quite literally did. And then again, there's somebody who came in here who just got rid of a collection of clown stuff, because there's a clown clock there. And like, if we look up on the wall here and back up, got guitars in beautiful condition, some with cases. This guy's just confused. And got old crate acoustic amps. There's a lot here. Now, a lot of people, when they move into a house, they'll get rid of the original lighting that was installed and get something slightly nicer. So you can always find lights in places like this for super cheap. There are so many things that we need to go through. We'll take a peek here, I guess. Since we're already here at the shoes, we have other aisles to go through, but we'll make our way through them. We've got used shoes and clothing all in here. And again, I often will skip through these sections, especially the ladies stuff, because I don't want to be like the weird, creepy guy looking through ladies' goods as we navigate the customers around us. But since we have the entire shop to ourselves today, we can freely look without as much stress. Let's take a look at like prices on some of this. So again, shirt like this, 550 yen. Looking at 4,000 yen for that one, another 4,000 for that one. So fairly reasonable prices. And is there a tag here? 2,400 yen. So it kind of runs the gamut for the clothing stuff here, but you can get a nice pair of corduroys. I guess I said that weird. For 300 yen. Lots of sports-esque clothing. When you get just a little bit on the edge of Tokyo, out to Tokyo, there's a lot more space. So people tend to do and be a lot more sporty. That was supposed to be do more sporty stuff and be a lot more sporty, but I just put it all together so we could be fancy. Those are some... I feel like outside of Japan, it's more challenging to pull this off. In Japan, a boot like this, frilly and fancy, is a very, very normal thing. But again, we still have this whole clothing section here. And they've got some brand stuff here as well. Like, we've got Burberry trench coats. And I am trying to see where the tag is. And that's not a terrible thing. Burberry trench coat for 7,000 yen. Seemingly in decent condition. Not too bad at all. 8,000 yen for that one there. So they have this small town thrift store vibe that I really like, while at the same time maintaining some of the bigger thrift store kind of approaches of, you know, the way they organize things, or having brand stuff all set aside. They've got an entire section here just for suitcases and whatnot. And every now and then, once in a while, you'll find, I always say, if you find like an aluminum style suitcase, this one's actually just plastic. Always check them, because occasionally you'll find like a really good suitcase in a thrift store for unbelievably cheap. Tons of bags and whatnot here. The sports sack is very popular in Japan and tends, even used, to be pretty expensive. But again, this here, 1,580 yen for that. And it seems clean and nice. All right. Also, I do want to cover that while they are and into sportswear and women's jackets and whatnot in here, while they have allowed me to come into the shop before the official opening time, there's no backing or sponsoring or any of that going. They don't get to see the video before I release it. They haven't made any requests. Of course, I'll link them in the description and everything like that, so you can come and check them out. They don't have an English website and don't ship overseas. There is a thrift shop that we did in Kyoto that you can find on the main TOKYOLENS channel that has exactly that. They built out an English website basically just for you guys, and they ship overseas as well. We have a ton of appliances here. This entire back section is basically appliance land. You got fridges and washing machines in this aisle, and microwaves and fridges down this aisle. And I'm just super curious about the minion fridge. This just feels so unnecessary, but so incredible all at the same time. This is the kind of thing that is just, you look at it and you're like, who would buy that? And then you know you kind of want it, but the only reason you don't get it is because there's no logical place to put it. Or maybe that's just me. I don't know. Let me know down below. And then, again, they take that big thrift store approach, and they've even got the liquor section here. So you got old Suntory whiskey around anywhere from 3,000 yen up to 1,400, 14,000. That's the right number. Then you got the big stuff over here. That is pricey. Both of these are 55,000 yen a piece. Let's wrap around to the other side here and see what we get coming down here. Is this like a coffee grinder? Oh. And it's heavy too. This is an old Kalita coffee grinder, and it is heavy duty. Like, that is full iron. You can feel it. The lid, that is metal. Oh. And again, something like that, it's aged as much as it's really going to age. And it seems to be built really well for 9,800 in there. If you're just stumbling on this and you really enjoy the thrift store stuff, just a reminder, I also have an entire playlist that I will link just of thrift store content. And the one common thing that we come across in basically every single thrift store, and for the life of me I cannot figure out why, is a globe or two. We always come across globes when we visit these thrift stores. Now, there's an entire second floor up here to check, but I also feel like we're not entirely done with this floor. Let's wrap around over here. We kind of finished off over there and didn't really come into this zone. So this zone, there's a ton of umbrellas, brand umbrellas, as well as a whole section here for jewelry. We've got more umbrellas and parasols, and then we've got perfume is the word I was looking for, all in the case here, as well as brand items and brand bags, all in here. And you like the old brand scarves and Christian Dior and all of that. Again, not terrible prices for brand name stuff. This Gucci pouch is 6,000 yen. This here is 19,800. Especially if you're coming at a time where the exchange rate is in your favor. Places like this are just gold. I have friends who literally, and I probably shouldn't give this away, but I'm going to, will come out, find places like this grab really good, in good condition items and then just take it back home and sell it because they know that they can get a ton for it. And if you know the market and if you know the items, can't really argue with them doing that. But it's not bad for the Japanese market. Like, people have been complaining that, oh, all the tourists in Japan, that's why prices are going up, and there's some truth within that. But at the same time, Japan has actually spent decades fighting deflation. And so while the rest of the world is going through a ton of inflation, comparatively, got all our dogs and cats here, comparatively, Japan has been moderately chill on the inflation side of things. So prices going up the way they are now is still worlds cheaper than most other places. Then there's a whole set here for clocks. We're going to take our time up, and there's more. It's like a Coach bag there for $3,500. There's a ton of brand stuff in here. And take our time going up here because there's just so much to see and look at. Like, get down here with this Route 66 sign or this metal warning, man cave, enter at your own risk, which has been discounted down to 880 yen. Kind of want that for Shimayama-san's shop. Or if you've ever just desperately wanted to have the Mona Lisa in your own house, there you go. Or this iron thing of a horse. That is full on metal right there. I feel like that should be on the studio door. Just greet everybody. This one's not even art. It's just a puzzle that somebody glued together and found a frame for. How do you find a frame? Do you think the frame was custom made? Because that is perfectly sized. Both of these. They're both one-piece puzzles with perfectly sized frames. So either those were sold as a set, the puzzle was trimmed, or it was custom made. What do you think? Let me know. Oh my lord. There is no way. Is this... Oh, it is. Oh, I swear I had this exact gumball machine when I was a kid. These classic, like, North American style gumball machines and whatnot can get really expensive in Japan. Like, this one's 22,000. I don't know. But it comes with a stand and everything too. Like, it's not just the gumball machine. But that is spectacular. I never had a stand for mine. I just had a standard gumball machine. But when you get up here, it gives you a little more scale as well. At just how big this shop is. And I did not notice. I don't know if you can tell. There's a little airplane up there. Let me see if I can zoom into it a bit. Can you see the airplane just sitting up on top there? I did not see or notice that before. Those little minor attention to detail, I love them. And so, moving on, there's still a ton of stuff to explore up here on this end. Like bikes. If you're going to be living in Japan for any significant amount of time, having a decent bicycle is massively important, and thrift stores can be a really good place to find them because bikes can get kind of expensive even at used bike shops. Got a road bike here, very, very simple model for 53,000. That's not too bad. Again, with the exchange rate, dirt cheap. If it was 1-to-1, you're looking at 500, but it's not 1-to-1 right now. And if I was just moving to Tokyo, 100% I'd be coming to a place like this to find tables and chairs and all of that. And it's actually a really nice wooden table. And they know it's nice too, because that's like 1.3, 1.4 grand for that table. Reasonable. Tons of chairs, flower pot. And kotatsu, one of my favorite parts of Japanese culture. I actually still have and use a kotatsu in my home to this day. I had a loft space and kind of built in to divide what I felt would be my living room area from my kitchen area. And one of the reasons is I have a kotatsu. If you don't know what they are, that is a heater right there. And there's a top layer of this kind of comes off. You put like a blanket over it. And then you sit with your legs in it. It's basically a space heat. Yes, those were the right words. Space heater. And they are warm. They're lovely. They're comfortable. This one's actually really nice. I like this one. And it's only 5,000 yen as well, which really isn't bad. This bucket, I just feel like I could use it for umbrellas, and they'll ship it right to you as well. That the shipping price is listed on there also, which is just lovely. Come in here, grab desks, grab yourself a tricycle, another globe. There's always a globe. There's always so many globes. And it was actually in my search for a few items that I want to add to a space I'm developing, as well as helping out Sherry set up her place, that I came across this place. Because the last thrift store video that we did just a while back, is that a giant hammock for 12 bucks? Camping supplies here. If you want, you can just grab yourself a slot machine. And most impressive part about the slot machine is the fact that it's marked as 28,000 with 50% off. And you can play it with 100 yen coins or medals. That is just wild. Like, if you had the space for that, that would actually be kind of a fun item to just have, but it would also be really hard to get rid of, because like, who's going to want to buy that off you, and where are you going to put it, where are you going to ship it? You've got the Gran Turismo 4 GT Force Pro by Logic Cool here, and again, it's just kind of mixed in with the furniture section, which is what I really like about this place. And I don't know if you've noticed it so far, but on top of all the beautifully divided sections of this place, they always kind of like tuck stuff in as like little hidden gems. Like, here, enjoy this item that would be used in this space, for example. But tons of great, again, shelf here, 5,000 yen. TV stand, 26,000 yen. TV stand for as low as 10,000 yen. These are all actually in really good condition. One of the most common comments that we get when we do thrift store videos together is how well Japanese items are taken care of. And coming from North America, Canada to be specific, you go to a thrift store and it can be hit or miss. It can be kind of a depressing situation if you're not careful, because the items are not well taken care of, more often than not broken and destroyed, or even just tossed in a pile. But these here, like, look how clean inside of that is. Like, it's like so many of the items that you'll find at thrift stores in Japan are so clean and beautiful and well taken care of, and I do not need it whatsoever. But oh boy, do I want that Asahi Super Dry sign. Don't need it, Norm. Just keep moving, keep moving. Got an entire section here for sofas, and they've put like a Chikawa toy on each sofa here as well. It's that tiny attention to detail. I really enjoy it. Also, this little chest here, like, again, it's 20,000 yen in beautiful condition. You could set up an entire place and just have everything shipped to you. You could even just be this person. Just flat. I love the name too. Flat on back folding desk 2. Like, what was the upgrade? What was the change from Model 1? I love how you can also, wow, not only like lock your computer in there. I'd be so worried about it just like falling and closing on my face. I couldn't do it. How many times have you like held your phone over your face and then accidentally dropped it on you? If you say none, I'm gonna call you a liar. And got Curious George just chilling in this chair right here. Also, a random poster back here of a lady playing the flute. And this sign here, I almost didn't even want to show it because I was thinking of getting it, but I can't imagine me having any space or real reason to have this. It's actually one of my favorite lemon sour drinks. For a while they had one named Oni Lemon, and it was just spectacular. But again, a gold mine of interesting items. Got chopa here, and so many sales as well. Like, a lot of stuff has been 20% off, 50% off, Globe. And I feel like I'm gonna have to come out here way more often. This was only about half an hour from the Akihabara where my studio is. I took my time getting out here too. Kind of walked through the park in the morning, just enjoyed the ambiance. I think Google Maps originally told me it was going to be 45 minutes, but it did not take me that long whatsoever. I feel, though, like for the most part, we have managed to get through pretty much everything. I didn't think we would, especially not in this amount of time. I thought we probably got belt buckles here as well. That is a full metal 4,000 yen Harley Davidson belt buckle. Or if you wanted, you could have this dragon here also. But again, metal signs and whatnot like this. What in the world? Jailbait. Danger. These girls are hot. It's signs like this that I kind of want to find more of. And so I guarantee you, when I wrap up with this video, it's going to be me walking around here, peeking through, just trying to find all of the little hot takes. Now, people always ask, what did you get? What did you get? What did you walk away with from this? Oh, there's a cutting box. Oh. Put it down. Put it down. We're not getting that. I'll tell you that. People always ask, what did you get? And there's going to be one or two items for the space that I'm building out. But coming down to this end, I can almost guarantee. I can't guarantee. I don't know. I'll give you the most likely items that I will have grabbed. The robot screams to me. I have a robot in my studio right now from a thrift store in Kyoto. I feel like he needs a friend, and I feel like this could be a really good friend for him. That feels like almost an absolute must. The GB box, the Game Boy box, again, feels like it kind of needs... I have inbox Game Boy and all these incredible inbox Game Boy accessories that I did for a video where I unboxed every Nintendo system since like the 1970s. Things that people had never even seen before. That's on the main channel as well. So I feel like those two items are pretty much decided. I have a disc system, but I'm also still kind of on the fence about it. And then over here, these bins are just filled to the brim with, like, there we go, 1,800 yen for a PC controller in the form of the original Famicom controller. I always look through stuff like this to try to find old N64 controllers and whatnot for my N64 collection, because I've got an incredibly large collection of N64 stuff. I guarantee you I'll be spending a good while peering through these boxes and just seeing what is in them. And what in the world? What? Got a Shadow Stormtrooper? What's in the box? I don't want to open the box. Hyper Hobby Star Wars. What? Force Fate. Okay. That might be gone as well. If you're coming out, expect the Star Wars stuff to be gone. But there are buckets and buckets and buckets of little treasures here right near the entrance, just to be picked through and enjoyed. Not to mention the fact that, like, again, you can just come out and grab games right in their original case. This feels like it's probably going to be a mahjong set. Ooh, it's got some weight to it too. It's only 1,780 yen. I'm wondering if it's 50% off of that, but there it is, yep. Still wrapped in plastic. Beautiful condition mahjong set for anybody who's interested. I never learned how to play. I got a set from a friend when I was in maybe high school, and I just thought the tiles were really neat, and very quickly learned that mahjong isn't played the way that it's played on the old, like, Windows 95 computers. So I was like, okay, well, I don't know how to play this, and then just never did. But if you were here, out of everything we've seen so far, what would you get? I would absolutely love to know. Look, again, there's this section where you got sewing machines down here, got record players, just the way they cram everything in to these tiny spaces here and just really make the best of the space that they have. I don't want to feel like I've missed anything, but there is so much to see. You know, I'm low-key thinking of doing an additional walkthrough on my 360 camera, just to see if we can go through this in 360. And I'll toss it up for a bit, maybe in a week or two. And then the replay will be left up for example, Patreon or something like that. But if you came out here, what would you have grabbed? And what would have you liked me to spend just a little more time on? What did we overlook? Did I miss anything? Let me know. Like this entire section here, I feel like we blew past it. Didn't even notice. There's a whole tool section in here. In amongst the power tools and whatnot, there's VR, Super VR, Gear VR with controller. It's kind of a smorgasbord in here. We got mice down there, keyboards. Oh, I know we have to, like, look at this. Tucked in here. We've got old cameras. Again, not bad prices on them whatsoever. Waterproof camera housings as well. That Canon IXI right there. Pretty sure almost exactly that same one. It looks like it might be a set with the charger. That was my very first like point and shoot camera when I came to Japan. It was either this one or this one of the IXI versions. I'd never owned a digital camera before that, and when I moved to Japan I was like, I'm gonna need a camera, because iPhones had just came out that year, and this Swiss Army knife has a fork and spoon on it. I feel like it would be really, really hard to close up. But Let me know down in the comments what you think. I'm also going to be putting together a super cut of all of these, and this should serve as part 1. So leave me something in the comments. Thank you guys so much for joining today, and we'll see you again real soon. Okay, yeah, I got the robot, the Omnibot, as well as basically everything else that I said I was going to get. I felt like Emilio here needed a friend. I also might have grabbed the man cave sign for Shimoyama-san's shop, but that's a tour for another time.